Okay, welcome to this new update of KABOOM. This is very cool update, with very better dynamics. So let's make a scene from scratch. So I will just select this one and push this back. I want to keep the light because it's much better to viewing smoke. So let's create a random scene like this. The bevel. Okay, and let's duplicate this like that, and we will create a ground. Okay, so you can find KABOOM in the fracture tab here, and we will fracture this one with a small amount like this. Okay, that's done. Let's add a blaster. So I will animate it here, from here to here. I will make this bigger like that. Okay, and moving it along there. Okay, let's make the inner radius bigger like this, much more force from the center, and we just have to play the simulation. We'll end this and let's play this. It's okay. So I want this to be a collider, so we'll just go here in rigid body section data. There's this, same for the ground, and let's play this, and it's okay. Nice. Oh, I will reduce the timeline and reduce it in the rigid bodies. I have something there. Okay. So that's good. Is it maybe a much more strength? Let's try this a bit more. Oh, sorry. Just change the settings and play blast, and hit blast, and it's okay. It's done. Maybe much more random. Yeah, that's good. So now I want to add some constraints. For this constraint, I added on selection only. So you can select. What I like to do, I like to select only the moving parts and leaving the last one free. You can select something else. That's not a problem. And I will add some breakable. So there's a small time of computation, depend on the number of blocks, and that's done. We know how I can hide this. Okay, we know some blocks stick together, so I can push it up, and the update is just making a blink. Okay, cool. I want it to be stronger, maybe twice. That's cool. But maybe I want to. I'm still in the dynamic simulation, so I can I can play it again. I can change these settings and maybe make the core radius bigger. Oh, core radius bigger, and let's try this again. That's much more violent. So let's reduce this. You can replay the blast. That's cool, but this one can make some random simulation, so I will try to keep it down. Okay, that's good. That's good for me. So once you are satisfied with the motions, you can bake this and just hit the baked keyframes. So there's some computing times depending on the number of blocks you have. And there we go, each blocks are baked. This one is useless now, you can kill it or hide it. And you can get rid of all these tabs, open tabs, by just sliding the mouse and click and slide. This is pretty efficient. So we have this. Well, just bake it to keyframes, so we will now can add some debris. So if I add debris, it will be added for all the motion and depend on the motion of the blocks. And you see some random issue we can see here, but that's not a problem. We will see how to fix this. So there's settings are changes here. You have this one, which is the speed, the dynamics at which the particles are emitted. So the lower the settings, the more particle you will have. So if I will push it to this and update debris, let's see. Yeah, that's much better for me. And we have another new things here, which is impact. Impact will generate debris on the ground collision, for example, and on the explosion. This is based on the dynamic change for the blocks. If it stop or if it start fast or stop fast, it will generate debris. So you can update this and update debris, and you will see much more. Look at this, is pretty cool to have this. And now let's get rid of this random flying guys who we can see here. So for this you can select one of the particle system and go here in the settings, and you can see now there's many particle systems debris added, which is different than before. You can have many more than this, depending on the settings you use, and you can update all these particles and subparticle systems at once. Just go to settings. Now we want to get rid of these flying guys, so we'll just go to physics in integration, and let's add one subframe in the integration. This will update the calculation of the particles, and we just have to deploy particles. So these settings will be deployed on every debris particle systems. So deploy particles. So it resets, and now we don't have it anymore. That's cool. So if you want to change some other things like the size of the particles, you can just update this here. Let's make it twice bigger, deploy on particles, and that's done. You can change the velocities and every settings here and update, and it will be okay. So maybe I want it to be much more following the emitters. So let's deploy particles. That's nice. For an explanation of where these particles come from, I just want to show you. This is the collection where the particles are based on the geometries for the particles. So you can change this. You can update these particles. You can make some of these ones bigger, and for example these three ones I want it to be, I can duplicate it and keeping this in the same collection, and if I make it bigger, you can see what happens. So let's see if it works better. Yeah, that's pretty cool when the particles are, you don't make difference between blocks and emitters and particles. Together you have a pretty efficient result. So that's it. And if you want to make your own particle system, your own geometries, you can just pick a new collection here. So this is the one generated by default. So I can hide this, and we have a pretty dynamic scene with in few times. This slide is very weird, so I can change this by changing the friction like that. Okay, nice. So when you're okay with all the settings, you can update, you can change the settings now. If I want to add more debris, I can update debris. Everything will be updated now, and you can go back and forth to the settings and update particles and update debris and change until you're satisfied with the result. And that's pretty efficient to work with. Very, very creative, because you always are mastering what you are doing. That deploy, you can change this if you want to put 5 on it. This will be much more explosive, you know. See, like this, deploy, pushing it up like that, and everything is real time. It's very cool to work with. So let's make it as it was. I was satisfied with this settings. So now I can just bake all dynamics. It just will bake the cache of all the particles, and that's it. So now you can play it like this, and it works fine. So okay, very fastly having a nice dynamic scene. But there's more with the smoke. Now the smoke is just amazing. So for the smoke, just add smoke, that's done. And you just need a smoke domain. So for this, the better is to select the scene, some object in the scene, and use add smoke domain. And add smoke domain will create the domain around your selection. That's it. Now you can scale it, so it will be much more efficient for your scene. You can move it. I will scale it this axis. This one too. Maybe a bit more in this one. Okay, and yeah, okay, and that's it. Once you have this, you can just hit play and look at this. So now you have two settings now for the smoke. The default settings are just crazy good by default, and you can change this by this is the smoke generated on move. This is generated when the objects are starting moving, so you can push it up or down, and the other is unexploded. This is when it changes dynamics, so when for example it explodes or on the impact. So by default, this is just super cool. I just have to update this, and let's make a better like that. I can use noise, and I can use bake like that, and bake all. So let's just wait. It's pretty fast. We just optimize everything to be the faster as possible. So let's just wait for the bake, and you will see in a few minutes you have a very cool destruction scene. Okay, so now just look at this. This is super cool. Now the smoke is very much more dynamic than before, because before we were using particles to generate the smoke, and particles in Blender are just the left behind of the Blender Foundation, and I will have no hope they will update this until they do something with geometry node. So the particles used to work with dynamic in MantaFlow, but not anymore, and I'm hopeless they fix this problem. So we turn to object dynamics to generate smoke, and it appears it's just super efficient, and we have just crazy dynamic smoke here. With default setting, it just super cool. So that's it. Enjoy. And there's something I forget to talk about. Let's hide this. I want to can make a rough cut on the blocks. So let's see that. I can hide easily the particles if I want. For the smoke, just hide the KB smoke collection, and there you go. And now you can you have these flat cuts from the Voronoi cut. You can get rid of this and enhance the result of that. For this, you just have to select to go to your group, and while selected, you can enable rough cut. This operation takes time. Depending on the number of blocks you have to process, it have to make a calculation on each block, so it can take a long time. But just wait while you're seeing this custom icons cursor. Just wait. If you have a big amount of blocks, it can really be a long process, but after that it's okay. So just be patient and just survey just look at the progress bar. So that's done. So what we have here, we have many level of subdivision. You can see here, you can change from 0 to from the base to 1 to like this to 3. You can change the amount of this place, the size of the noise. All right, and you can decimate. So this will optimize the result. And if you want it to be much more fast in the viewport, you can disable it in the viewport, and it will be a render, but not in the viewport. And you can so apply it. So every geometry will not be dynamic anymore. You can't. You will not be able to change these values, because of course the amount of geometry added will slow down the viewport preview. So that's what I forgot to talk to you about.